Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us on our video here. I am so super excited to be speaking with one of my best friends in the fintech industry. He is a man that requires very little introduction because he is that amazing. He now is the CEO of Relay Financial. All hands together for Mr. Joseph West. How's it going?
Good, Jenny. Great to see you. I feel entirely embarrassed by that introduction, so thank you. That feels really good. For those who don't know me, and I hope that's the majority of you, like I previously kind of was at Wave and then HubDoc, and I've kind of been around the accounting and bookkeeping community for quite some time, and just love working with advisors, and I've learned a lot in that time, and I continue to learn more, so it's good.
Awesome. Well, yes, I remember you from the HubDoc days, not so much from going way back before that, but a lot of fun. And I've always really appreciated how innovative you are, and super excited to hear more about Relay today. But before we get into that, I hear you have a certain playbook to share that can help accounting professionals like myself understand some 3 core pillars. So let's dive into that.
Sure. Yeah. So like the playbook is basically like growth in 2021. And we talked to a lot of like cloud accounting leaders in the US to get a sense for like, hey, how are you thinking about this year ahead? And just to step back for like 1 second, the inspiration for all of this was kind of, we reflected on what 2020 was for all of us.
Oh, let's just summarize that right now.
Right,
2020
exactly.
was
Yeah.
like
Not a great year. But like, it was also a great year for reflection.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of looked at our lives and like, okay, here's the stuff that I like about it. Here's the stuff I don't necessarily like about it. And here's how I want to get better. And so we kind of thought, okay, that's something everyone is feeling to some extent. And then of course, our thought was, how do we take that emotional thread and apply it to accounting and bookkeeping? Of course, what else would we do? Let's ask firm owners, what they learned over the course of the year, and how does that get reflected into 2021? And so we put together this playbook both as a reflection on this, crazy year that we've all had, and hopefully it's getting less crazy as we go into 2021. I don't know. But what did they learn, and what are they doing in 2021 to make this year the best year ever, right? Or at least a better year than last year.
Absolutely.
Right. And so there, as you mentioned, there were like a few core pillars, and people, process, technology were kind of the 3. I think the theme that came out from all of these conversations was how important like people are. And everything from kind of leaning in to your clients' businesses and being their quote unquote like financial therapist was often the term, as all the craziness unfolded last year, to seeing how resilient their team was. It came up time and again. It's like, hey, I thought I had a good team before, but now I really understand how great my people are.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had that same experience, like going through, well, we're still in the pandemic, but
Yeah, hearts is something that you need, right? Like a lot of people say, like technology is great and technology is a tool. It's not a replacement. We still need the human mind. We still need the passion of the heart. And we found that really deep in 2020. 2020, it was hard. Like it really was a kick in the pants. It really was. And it forced a lot of accounting professionals, including myself, as being the founder and owner of More Details Inc., to really take a look at what the heck we're doing. And I gotta be honest with you, I came in 2020 a little sassy into COVID, like, yeah, I got this nailed. Yeah, I got my workflows. Yeah, I'm on the cloud. You know what? And people wise, like we lost a key person. So like having to navigate during COVID, finding talent, really leaning in and finding the right people. Like people really are the 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 heart of the organization, right? Because communication and money are the 2 breakdowns in any relationship. And folks, as accounting pros, we're dealing with both. Communication, you need hearts, you need people. And so we've been really, lucky being able to find some great talent. And our clients have been really patient with us too. And it's really something we're striving towards with 2021. We felt a lot of friction in 2020, like far more than I wanted to. A lot of sleepless nights, and I'm not preaching to the choir here and looking for any virtual hugs, although I'll take them. You know, that amount of friction and anxiety really helped me understand what needed to happen to grow and what needed to happen to be fixed. So yeah, people, pillar number one,
Yeah, pillar number
people,
one, people, number one
people.
asset. But I think to touch on your point about hiring and how it's such a tight market as well,
Mm,
right? Even though we've got like mass unemployment, but it's only affecting certain segments of
yeah,
kind of the economy, unfortunately, right?
yeah,
Well, unfortunately and unfortunately, it's kind of messed up, right? And in the accounting and bookkeeping community, like what we saw is a lot of firms are trying to figure out like what is their unique strength that would enable them to hire the right type of people for their firm. And so Hector, like we had a lot of amazing kind of cloud accounting leaders that shared their insights. And the only reason I get to sit here and sound, semi-smart is really because of them. But Hector Garcia shared this wonderful kind of tidbit that he's like, hey, what I'm really good at and what our firm is really good at is training. We're good at teaching people. And so to me, I don't care if the person has the skills, as long as they have the right attitude, the right work ethic, and they really just want to learn, I
yeah.
can get them there. And that's how he's been able to like continue to grow his firm through this period of time while we have like still like a very tight kind of talent market in the accounting and bookkeeping community.
Yeah, that's it. Like you can't teach enthusiasm. It has to be brought to the table, right? You can't teach curiosity. It has to be brought. And finding those people, and if you're in that training spectrum, it's really it's easy to be able to help the person know what's expected of them, right? And document, document, document,
Doc-
which may lead us into something else. That was maybe a segue, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. The documentation is like a great bullet on the process side.
Yeah.
Um, like the other two quick ones on the people side were
Hmm.
like really investing in upskilling your team.
Hmm.
So a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, I thought I had a good team before, but now I really understand I have a good team." And then how do I make them even better this
Hmm.
year? Is it skills courses? Is it doing team trainings, lunch and learns, whatever it is?
Hmm.
And so they're really focused on helping people kind of get to that next stage because they
Hmm.
just believe that, again, going back to that tight talent market, perhaps the way to get the most value out of their current team and solve most problems is to actually invest in their people, which seems like common sense advice, but I'm going to sound cheesy. Common sense, I guess, isn't so common, right? Uh,
It's true.
um, it's hard. It's all
Yeah.
hard, right? Like when you're running a business, it's just challenging.
Yeah. And I think the other thing it did for practice owners or for anybody in a role where they have people that are reporting to them is it really forced us 2020 and beyond the advocacy of mental health as well, right? Like the checking in, like finding the technology and things like that. That was really, it's really important as well to be able to create those stronger relationships with your people. And it's sort of taken away those barriers of personal and business, right? And the silo in between. It was like, no, 2020 just totally took that silo out in the windstorm. And it's like, listen, hey girl, how you doing? Right? Or it was like, dude, what's it like upstairs? Are you okay? Like that's what 2021 has done. And I think it's important when you look at people that it's not just about what business life is like, but really taking care of them from that personal side. That if they need a day off, give them the day off because they're going to give you two in return, right? Like they're going to be so much more productive giving you two in return.
100%. It's the notion of like treating people with kindness is like
Yeah.
especially like
Total Harry Styles. Exactly. Right. Treat people with kindness. I love
and,
Harry Styles, by the way.
yeah, yeah. I think I know who, like I'm not even I'm getting to that age where I'm like I don't know. You have daughters. So
Disagree. I have
probably, yeah,
daughters. I have teenage
yeah,
daughters. So that's what
yeah.
makes me cool.
And then the third part, like to your point of like just connecting with people and seeing how they're doing,
Yeah.
we see a lot of firms experimenting with different ways to make the team feel connected.
Hmm.
So like, our friends at Live CA might have taken everyone to a bear lodge,
Hmm.
12 months ago and like made an amazing video that we all get to enjoy,
Hmm.
live vicariously. But like now, what are your options? Like, and we saw firms like trying like virtual escape rooms, which we actually tried as a company.
Did you?
Uh, yeah, it was so weird and fun at the same
Was
time.
it?
Yeah, it was very yeah.
I have not done an escape room and I'm secretly, not so secretly now, afraid to do it. I don't know. I think I might just like,
Yeah, so the escape room experience like in real life is like,
Yeah.
it's okay. I've done one. It's fine.
Okay.
Um, the virtual escape room is you have like all the little tiles of your team, and then there's one tile which is a guy in the escape room that you
Okay.
are telling what to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Big brother move. Okay.
It was fun. It was genuinely fun. But like people are trying this stuff, right? Like they're trying to
That's
see like,
awesome. And it's
yeah,
great
like,
for the people who own the escape rooms because it's still bringing in revenue for that organization. That's a brilliant idea.
yeah,
Thinking outside of the box, right?
100%. And like for us, it was like great way for the team to bond and
Yeah.
also see who might be an escape room savant, which it turned out we had one amongst us. She just like it was unbelievable.
Oh,
It was who knows, right?
right?
Um,
Exactly. You don't know what you're going to find, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So
okay, process. Let's
process,
get
pillar
to it.
number 2, process.
Documentation,
Yeah.
documentation. Just like standardizing processes, like getting everyone on the same page, making sure everyone's doing things the same way. It just came up time and again. Obviously, everyone's talking to each other and being like, "Yeah, I'm documenting everything." Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, having a lot of chats myself. Like people, what I love about our industry is, what we're all in this together and we're all learning together, right? Like stuff's changing so quickly that there isn't this such thing as an expert or a guru anymore. Like we're all equal playing ground. And a lot of accounting pros, we've been having little conversations here and there and asking about, what's failed? Like, this employee didn't turn out or something, right? Like we had to get rid of them. It didn't work out. I'm like, okay. So, like, what do you think went wrong? Right? Takes two. Well, it turns to boil down into, not hiring the first one, which we talked about people. What's the second one? Process, not writing stuff out. So, when it comes to your workflows, it's really important to be able to give the recipe of how you want the work done because your workflow force, probably the majority of them are not psychic, right? So if you're expecting that work to be done in a certain caliber that your clients are expecting to have things done and filed on time, it's really important to document them, whether video, audio, writing it out, whatever the case is. But I'm a big preacher for that. And anytime you feel a little bit of friction, whether it's a client not happy or you're not happy or your employee's not happy, your workflow screwed up. Go back to your workflow. Okay, I'm done my rant. Over to
it's
you,
true
Yusuf.
though, right? It's true, right? Like I
Yeah.
think, in a year where there a lot changed that was out of our control, there's still a lot that is in our control,
Yep.
right? And to your point, like when something goes wrong, the best thing you can do is actually reflect
Yep.
and look at, hey, what can I do better? And apparently the answer is document.
That's right. So, but it's true, right? Like you have to document and set expectations. It was funny. I put out a tweet there not too long ago. We're carbon users for our workflow management, and I was shredding some old paper. Could you believe it? I had paper. I don't know. I've picked on you in the past for paper. I know I have, but I had paper. I had an old filing box, paper. And in it was my workflow, my checklist, my little paper checklist of what I would do each month. And I put it out there on Twitter because I was like, you know what? Why not? And it was something that helped at the time, but it wasn't scalable, right? I couldn't imagine that paper checklist right now with a virtual team. Like, what would I do? FedEx it to them? Like, I don't know. Like, really important. Virtual workflows, super important. Virtual processes, super important. When in doubt, write it out.
100%. But like that comes to the next point. This is all like threading together. Oh my God. I don't know what this is, but
That's
apparently
okay. I'm going with it. Let's
yeah.
go. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Is investing in like scalable client communication,
Hmm.
right? Is finding ways to make conversations really easy. We heard about advisors creating like Slack channels or Slack
Yep.
communities for their clients.
Hmm.
So they'd be able to like have real-time conversations,
Hmm.
or using something like Lisio that enables kind of more real-time messaging in a secure manner.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's really cool to see kind of that evolution of like the communication even is like not quite automated, but perhaps centralized.
Yeah.
Um, and made more
For
efficient.
sure. We're big Slack users. I like to call us Slackers. We are, we do. We love Slack. It works out well. We've introduced our clients to it. And even with the growth that we've had with our new clients that have been somewhat adverse, we really draw back to, okay, how was that relationship not working before for you with your prior provider? Was it communication? Yes. Okay. So this is how we solve it with Slack. So get uncomfortable right now learning Slack, and because this is how we're going to solve this, right?
Mhm.
And we've had some great response with Slack, and working with teams, and yes, they're a little raw to getting started, and but some of them are like addicted. It's like, okay, I want to be on. It's like the next. I don't know what it is, like Candy Crush to them. I don't know. Like we're making bookkeeping that fun that they can't wait for a Slack message from at Jenny Moore. Like it's great, but communication's important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, right? Like feeling part of the process
Mhm.
where it's not an email is like is really nice.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, yeah, sometimes you got to take stuff out, maybe put it in email. When I'm tempted to write a long-winded email, you know what I still do? Pick up that old phone, give them a call. Or a Zoom call, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, as someone that works with an advisor, like that is 100% better,
yeah,
right? Because it's like, oh, I've got to read this email. I've got to parse out each of the items that I know it's worked for me, right?
yeah,
If you just call me, like we can knock it out like pretty quickly.
exactly. Long emails should come from lawyers, not from your accountant.
I just like that we're sandbagging lawyers
Yeah,
as
exactly. And
yeah.
I'm not sorry, lawyers. Even though I'm Canadian, I am not sorry.
Um, and then on the process side, like to your point about giving people mental health days, is like just enabling people to like balance their workload. I know for a lot of leading firms, everyone's remote already, but for even if you are remote, a lot of your life has gone from not remote or
Yeah,
sorry, not remote to remote, right? Like
yeah,
kids being home and having them doing virtual schooling and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Um, and so we heard about a lot of firms trying to give people room and time, and being able to raise their hand for that mental health day, big time.
Yeah, it's really important. I know we've gone from remote to chaos. Uh, yeah, all three kids went back to school today, so a little bit of yay. But I mean, they're looking forward to it as well within our region. And luckily, we are safe to do that. So I do not take that for granted. But I cannot emphasize enough what that chaos has been like, right? So it's really important setting expectations not only with our clients but with our internal team, even at home. Like, hey, kids, mom's putting in a frozen dinner tonight. Like we're like like let's set realistic expectations, things like that, super important. So yeah, people and process. Super
Nice.
important.
Well, let's talk about the PPT. Let's cover the
Yeah,
T, the
yeah.
technology.
Technology,
Um,
pillar number 3, technology.
So, I mean, I think this theme has kind of just run through over the course of the last like 7 years, right? It's like automation, automation, automation. And so we've seen just more and more firms looking for like new opportunities. Maybe it's finally kind of, wanting to automate accounts payable for their clients and manage bill pay, and finding a solution for that, or looking for kind of like process checklists that they're actually like automating as opposed to just having it like in a Google Doc. And so we're seeing people like just try and find what are those additional 10%, 5% gains they can get, in terms of service delivery, which I think is really cool, and trying new things like recommending a bank, which they didn't really have much option to do previously.
Yeah, right. Totally. Yeah, I got it. And that was totally not a plug. And by the way, this is not scripted whatsoever because Joseph totally knows that he can't give me a script because I won't follow it anyways. Um, got something to say about that. I do. Can I have a little bit of like
Yeah, go for it.
spotlight to talk
Yeah,
about?
please, please.
Okay, so
I'll just roll back here.
let's
I'll
just roll
just
back and let the sale happen. No, I'm joking. So recently, as everyone knows, that I have my own practice and we're expanding into the US, which is super awesome and scary at the same time because of the banking situation. And with this great new amazing client, we were running into some major roadblocks when it came to banking. One, employees wanted to get paid. Go figure. I mean, I don't think that's overly demanding, right? I think it's kind of important to pay your people, right? But the platform was failing, the technology was failing behind that. So we were getting, some massive runaround with US banks to get that set up. Everything was organized. We needed to orchestrate and position ourselves a lot quicker to pay these employees. And big shout out to Tim Miron. I know you're probably at some point going to see this video. You know, I love you in a total fintech way. So we've been working together with this client, and it just popped in my head. Hey, try Relay. I trust Joseph West like you wouldn't believe. I trust him. He's got to be able to make a good product because I trust the guy. So just figure it out. Just go have a look. I'm too busy right now to dive too much into it. Sorry, Joseph, I was.
Yeah.
I really am. Can you just go check it out? Long story short, that was like, a couple of days later, what do I get an email as an invitation for access to Relay Financial for this client like that. Now, I don't know about the rest of you guys when you're dealing with banks and getting delegate cards and access cards, but that is the quickest I've ever seen myself getting access in the most pain-free way for my clients. And now we're positioned to run payroll and get these families paid because it really is hand to mouth. It really, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like money, like they need to pay their mortgage, they need to buy groceries. And to give you the offset of that, that was Wednesday, folks. Wednesday of last week is when I finally got, when Relay gave me this access. But this is what happened Thursday. Thursday, I spent 8 hours, I kid you not, 8 hours during COVID with a child in a bank, two separate banks, trying to get two access cards and trying to explain to a teller exactly what I need. This is with them having prior notice. This is me having full authorization from the client. They have all the paperwork. They're actually trying to figure out the freaking card. 8 hours is what I spent trying to get read only access for two banks. And Relay Financial did it in like 15 minutes. So I am your biggest advocate. I'm sold. I'm sold.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So good. So good.
Yeah. So like the technology is so important, right? Like our business owners are way too busy and have far more problems than to
Mhm.
worry about their banks, right? The bank should have their backs, not the other way around, right? So this is important.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole goal, right? It's like banks have traditionally been like a tax on small business.
Yes. They've literally I've seen them hinder, but in this case it would have been payroll.
Mhm.
Payroll. Hinder the livelihood of individuals, hindering the access to information for the accounting professional to give data back to the client on can they continue to keep their employees on payroll or should they lay them off? Can they expand? Like this is information the client should own to make sound decisions. And it is so cumbersome right now with current traditional banking styles to do that effectively. And the clients need that. The last thing I want to say to a client is, sorry, the bank statement isn't available yet. Right? Like it's not a valid excuse anymore.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that idea of like access to information is like the limiting factor on like financial visibility is kind
Mm-hmm.
of the candidly it's just like why we started this.
Mm-hmm.
We saw this live at HubDoc, right? Like firms like yours would pay us anywhere from a few $100 a month to $5,000-$10,000 a month to literally just download bank statement PDFs, right? And then we had our partners Intuit and Zero, and like both of them had huge bank feed issues. Bank feeds didn't work. They still don't work.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we thought about it, it's like, how do you actually solve this? Like the banks, there are good people at the banks that probably want to find a way to solve it. It's just, it's not a priority for them. And so we realized the only way to actually solve it is to be the bank. And that's how it came to be.
I love that story of passion. It is so true because you felt it from the ground up on the customer service lines, in the marketing. You've heard that from the ground up why this is important. Access to good, clean data, right? Because we're not doing this anymore unless you're playing the piano. We're not doing data entry anymore. We're doing data flow. I have no idea why I'm using my
Yeah.
hands, but
No,
it's
that's
working. Right? Oh, I love that that's your passion, right? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being our guest. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I can't wait to do more of these chats. But yes, everyone check out the playbook first of all, because that's going to help you in 2021. Let's say goodbye to 2020 and let's get our stuff together for 2021. And hopefully you're going to make Relay Financial part of your fintech family too. Okay. Everyone, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Jenny. Bye.